And then we go to our throat chakra. And we look at the throat chakra. This is the fifth chakra. It's right above the heart. This is the other creative center. And we call this the creative center because, right, we speak into existence. This is our manifesting tool here. We speak, we manifest out of our throat chakra. But we also intuit, right? And so this right here is very multifaceted. It does many things, but it's all about communication, whether it's receiving or whether it's outputting. It's about communication. It's about how we do that creatively, and expressively. Interestingly, I'm just realizing, let me see here. These are really interesting for me. So we have the Five of Swords, the Five of Coins. So here we're talking about fives. See how it's interesting how all the doubles come out? And I didn't purposely do this. This is what came out. And so fives are all about change. So there's something about the communication style, the creative expression changing here with the throat chakra. It's changing. And when we look at the throat chakra, what are we asking for? If in fact, my ear is ringing, If in fact we are communicating and manifesting right out of our mouth, what are we communicating? And in what we're communicating, what are we asking for? Do you understand what I'm asking? In our communicating, what are we asking? If in fact it is true that when we speak, we're manifesting, what are we speaking? What are we asking for as the words leave our mouth, right? What is it that we are manifesting? Okay, because what we're speaking is a language that's being interpreted by the universe as us asking for something when we speak. Even in conversations with our friends or with just random people. I was on the phone today and I was shopping and I caught myself before I said something. I almost said something and Spirit was like, mindful of your tongue. I mean, it wasn't anything big, but it was the nature of what I was about to say. I was about to speak something into existence just from a menial, meaningless thought. Before it exited out of my mouth, Spirit was like, oh, don't say that because that's not necessarily true. And you don't want to make that true by speaking it. And so I was like, oh, let me not say that because I don't know that. So let me not say that and let me not let that exit my mouth. We manifest with our tongue, right? And so what are we asking for? If you take a look at the language that you speak, the words that you choose to speak out of your mouth, even in the most common conversations that you have, even with yourself, what are you asking for? Because the conversations will tell you what it is that the universe is returning back to you. It's going to tell you what you've asked for, right? And so the Five of Swords comes out. And when we look at the Five of Swords, I'm looking at, this kind of feels icy to me too, but in a different way, especially with the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a little bit confrontational. It's a fighting card. It's a battle card. It's almost like a battle of the will. Someone that's very adamant about having their way. The Five of Swords represents that kind of energy. And this is saying that this is actually the true communication card. Five of Swords is very, for someone, this says that your communication is hostile. And if that's true, that's what you're asking for. But is it? Is that what you're asking for? Are you intending this? And maybe this is why this is coming out today, because this is what you're communicating to the universe, saying that this is what you want for someone. The Five of Swords. And then we look at the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is the energy that will help. This is changing something. First of all, the Five of Swords is communication because it's swords, right? It's how we're thinking, it's communication. It could be inner conflict. The Five of Pentacles is kind of like how we're interpreting our experience, our literal experience. And this is how we can change so that we can pull in what it is that we want, how we can change how we're communicating so we can pull in what we want. It's almost like changing how we are experiencing, how we're interpreting our experience. Because there's, with the Five of Pentacles, that says that there is a very lack mindset when it comes to the experience. Almost like there's no appreciation for the experience. It's a very low interpretation of the experience. It's sickly. It's impoverished. It's just not, this is somebody that, I don't know, may not even want to continue to, exist. That level of energy. And with that being said, it must change for the manifestation. What's being brought in must change according to how the experience is being perceived. That's how we change the manifestation. Okay. We must change how we're perceiving our experience in order to change the manifestation. And then we have justice coming out as well. And justice is what is vying for balance, it's vying for equality, it's vying for like justice to be done. And this is what has to be released in order for our true, authentic voice to be heard. And justice is not only vying for those things, but justice represents those things. Justice is the energy of indifference. It's like there's no taking sides, there's no favoritism, there is only right and there is only wrong, right? Justice is a high level of integrity that stands for something. It stands for right, right? And it doesn't care who don't like, because you stand for it, right? This is like you really understanding what you believe and standing on that. No matter who comes or who goes, or no matter what trouble it might bring, this is coming to the reality of what is right and standing for that. And Spirit has said that this is what is needed for your true voice to be heard. It's not necessarily how we're interpreting the experience, but the truth of what it is and standing for that. This is very deep because there are things that are controversial, and sometimes talking about those things can rock people's worlds. But does that mean that we don't talk about them? Does it mean that we be really hush hush and quiet and not speak truth? No. I think it's how we say it. And I think it's the intention behind why we're saying it and what we expect to happen as a result of saying it. Are we trying to get people to understand a different perspective, or are we trying to raise war, right? Are we trying to cause people to feel insecure or hurt, or are we just trying to get people to understand a different side of a coin, right? And so justice is that energy, because justice is not there to just win, like the Five of Swords. It's like win at all costs. No, justice is not interested in winning. Justice is interested in truth being heard and in the right thing being done. And when the wrong thing has been done, justice wants to right the wrong and equal the playing field, make things right, right? This is how, Spirit is saying, this is how your true, authentic voice can be heard. This is how, by standing in this no nonsense energy. And I feel like for someone, the justice coming out says that there is a level of possible position, because the justice also kind of brings in the energy of leadership. Like, this is someone who is trusted, who has a position to make very high level decisions. This is even like dealing with court, law. This is a high level of authority, right, within societies, right? This is someone who, when they speak, people listen. People draw sides and draw lines when they speak. And so this is a lot of power that I'm feeling coming through the throat chakra. And so Spirit is bringing the need to understand the power and the need for integrity here when it comes to what we're saying. Give me 1 second, okay? Okay. And this really hits home for me because it's some stuff that should be said, that has to be said ever so often, just to remind, the world not to forget. And those things many times shake things up, but it's things that don't need to be forgotten, and so it becomes very controversial, even within ourselves, like when it comes to speaking truth. But I feel like it boils down to intention. Why? Why are we speaking the truth? Is it to hurt, to harm, or is it to really enlighten? And is it to bring that sense of justice into the world, right? I think that's really important. And it becomes it becomes a battle within, and now I see why the Five of Swords would be there, because it is really conflictual when it comes to speaking. And the fact that there's this manifesting that's happening. But what is it that we're wanting to manifest? Is truth? Is it justice? If it's anything other than what is right, then we have a problem. And so that's something to take a look at, how we're using our words and the intention behind it, because really it's about us. It's about our world and what we're manifesting around ourselves. Spirit is just saying to take a look at that and take a look at, the manifestation to see if it's aligned with what you expect. If not, then there may need to be a reevaluation of the perception and how we can change that to align with what it is that we want to receive when we speak. It starts from within, and the wolf comes out, another one of my favorite cards for the throat chakra, and it's all about communication. It's all about communication. And the wolf is really pointing to the ability to translate these ideas that start within, right, out into the world through words and expression. But Spirit is saying, think of it even taking it a step further. Those words and those expressions actually become the reality. And so there's something about communication here. The wolf comes out as being a source of teaching as well. Teaching. We are teaching people when we're talking. I could be talking to a teacher. You could be teaching people and not even realize that that's what you're doing, because people are listening to you on that level. Possibly even changing their lives, I'm hearing Spirit say, according to what you're saying. And so there's a weight of power here with whoever I'm talking to when it comes to the throat chakra. There's a level of power that comes through here that Spirit is pointing to. And I always say, I know y'all have heard it. Those of y'all that listen to me, you've heard it a million times. What do I say? With power comes what? It starts with an R. becomes what? Responsibility. Responsibility. And so the wolf here is just letting us know, that not only will we be heard when we speak and express, but also Spirit is saying we're manifesting. We will manifest. And so there's something here about the throat chakra and understanding that we are asking for something when we're speaking. We're manifesting. We're literally asking. Spirit says you're asking me for something when you're speaking out. Do you know what you're asking for? Are you tapped in on that level and realizing that you're actually making requests when you speak? And so that's what needs to be known with the throat chakra. We have 2 more chakras here. We have our third eye. So as we get above the heart, now we're getting more into, when we were dealing with the lower chakras, this was all about that grounding energy, that very earth tactile energy. Now we're getting up into the more enlightenment when it comes to the higher chakras. We're actually moving into enlightenment now. And so we talked about the throat chakra, now tapping into the third eye. And when we look at the third eye, we're talking about not our physical sight. We're talking about our spiritual sight, seeing how we see the world, physically, but even more importantly, how we see it intuitively. Okay. And also the ability to see the big picture, to see beyond reality. There's something bigger in operation behind the scenes. That's what we're talking about. Peering behind the veil, okay? Behind what's being seen with the naked eye. And we look at the 6th chakra. We're looking at, interesting, how this is talking about the energy that we will leave behind. So we kind of tapping into like legacy energy. What is it that will be left behind when we're done, when we've crossed over ourselves into that realm that we're tapped into intuitively? What do we leave on this side as we cross over to that realm ourselves? We have the 6 of coins coming out. We have the Queen of Wands. Interesting that the Queen of Wands will show up under or all of the queens are intuitive. I can see why that shows up under the third eye. And then we have the 6 of Cups. And so for the third eye, 6s are coming into play. And I think for me, 6 has played a very important role in waking up to self, or what I like to say, coming home to self. We spend so much time looking outside of ourselves. And the moment that we decide to really stop seeking outside and really look within is like the best thing since bread. And it's like, what was I looking for? Like, duh. It's like a blind, someone blind looking for something and it's right there in front of them, but because they can't see, right? They're looking all around it and it's like right there in front of them. That's kind of like how we do until we decide to really open our eyes and see the truth of everything that we need is within. And so in order to receive it, we go within, which actually we find it then, or many times it finds us when we turn within. For me, that's what the 6s are. It's a coming home to self moment. And so it's asking, though, with the third eye chakra, which is all about how we're perceiving the world and our intuition and seeing the big picture. Like, it's understanding that it's not just about me and my 3. It's not just about everything behind the tips of my shoes. This is about the grand scheme of things. And this is about the woven, the interwoven energy that includes you. Like you're part of a bigger structure, a bigger picture, right? You're a small, intricate detail in that big woven craftsmanship. And it's understanding that, right? That there's more beyond your experience and being able to see that, and that there's going to be more after your experience and being able to possibly see that too. That's what we're talking about here. Now, when I look at the Six of Pentacles, it's a lady that's kind of sitting, and there's hands that are throwing money at her, and she's throwing money at the hands. So there's like this reciprocation that's happening with the Six of Coins. And again, we're talking about legacy. And the Six of Coins is almost like looking at what you've been given. What legacy were you given? Are you able to see that? Can you discern that? Or will you discern that? There's something about, now this could be, because we're talking about spiritual things, Pentacles is always dealing with the practical. It could mean money. It could mean possessions, material things. It could also, though, mean wealth. A wealth of health and something in regards to your physical. That's not necessarily money or materials, but it's like something within your body that you've been left. You were left something. And Spirit is like, you need to see this. The Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, and it's 4 hands extending towards her. So you were given 4 times something. It's almost like you were given something with 4 times as much power as each of these people who left it to you had singularly. You've been given 4 times as much, or 4 times the strength of this, whatever this is. This is about leaving a legacy, and the legacy you've been given. And it has something to do with the intuition, the third eye. So this is like some gift in the body, some spiritual gift. I feel like a multifaceted ability to do something. Yeah. And on the other hand, you could be leaving 4 times as much. So there's something that you have, or you will cultivate for yourself, where you will be able to give 4 times as much. For some of you, you've been given, or you have more than anyone has had before you. And because of that, you're going to be able to give, like, not twice as much, 4 times as much. I feel like this has a lot to do with what you hold. It could be different things for different people, but what you hold is the capacity 4 times as much. That's what I'm getting, 4 times as much. And so it's not even doubled, but it's 4 times as much. That's a lot. That's a lot. I have the Queen of Wands coming out next under the third eye chakra, talking about legacy. And she's sitting on a throne in her chair, her big giant throne. What has been hidden behind the legacy? The Queen of Wands sits on the throne. What has been hidden behind the legacy? And the Queen of Wands comes out. I feel like it's a lot of, it's almost like these gifts or this ability. The Queen of Wands is very, carries a lot of like abilities to do things. Like the Queen of Wands is sometimes so active, like she could be overactive and not detailed enough because she's just doing so much and going so fast. There's like this overflow of ability. And I feel like this shows up in your generation. And it may show up in you. All of these different gifts or these abilities, this 4 times as much. It's been hidden until you. There's something about you that this will be manifested through if it has not already, right? You'll know. The Queen of Wands carries many, many talents. She's multi-talented and she multitasks because she's so good at everything. Like the jack of all trades. Just very talented at everything that she puts her hands to. Very crafty, very artistic. And so it has been manifested in you, in your bloodline through you. That's what I'm getting. The 4 times as much. This may come as a shock to many around you who are connected to you. It's like they may look at you trying to make sense of it. Like, where did that come from? What are you talking about? There's going to be a lot of confusion about this when it comes out full-fledged, when it shows up, because it's been hidden. It's been hidden, but you bring it out. You are the one that will resurrect these hidden things, the 4 times as much. Okay? It can no longer be hidden. And then I have the 6 of Cups, and this is a man or a woman, but they're standing in a dark room between 6 cups that are floating in the air. And so the 6 of Cups are very nostalgic energies, thinking back. There's something about the past that may be coming back around, bringing good fortune, bringing good memories, bringing good energy, right? Something coming back around. And this is some acknowledgement from the ancestors. And so Spirit is saying that it's necessary to acknowledge something from the ancestors. What is it? And are you willing to see their legacy come to fruition through you so that yours can come through to fruition as well? It's almost like if you refuse to be the vessel, these cups, or if you refuse to be the vessel, then your legacy will be refused as well. Because that's how it flows through. That's how it flows through. It's by you being an open vessel to allow it to come to fruition. And by doing that, you allow yours to come to fruition as well. Are you willing to see it, to acknowledge the ancestors and acknowledge the legacy that was left? If you do, then yours will be acknowledged as well. Okay? And the oracle card is reflection, thinking back, reflection, allowing yourself to embark upon the journey and invite the path, and it's an accelerated path to your journey here on earth. There is a path, whether you realize it or not. There's a path that you've been given. You do have to invite it in, though. You have to be open to it in order to accelerate this path. And this is, I'll show you this card. It is the hero pose. It's called reflection. And it's a lady that's basically sitting on the grass underneath a tree. And looks like she's meditating. She could be attuning, through meditation, inviting in the energies Meditation, we get to tap into, whatever direction mentally. Like some people will tap into the ancestors, right? She could be doing that here as she's connecting with the land and the elements of the earth. Her knees bent, her hips resting on her heels, and she's just open and inviting in, information that she needs to know. That's what I feel like is happening here. And whatever challenges come with that, she's open and embarking upon this journey, this quest. Just as it says here. There's something about meditation, connecting with the elements of the earth, posture. There's something about this, about awakening to this energy and how imminent it is, and how much we have to be immersed in this energy to embark upon the path. There's something about meditation that's been coming up for me a lot. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle, especially when you have monkey mind. But I think for me, part of what I've learned with meditation is that if we enter in without a specific expectation, it becomes easier. You're no longer beating yourself up because, you're thinking about 50 different things that happen in the day. It's like you just acknowledge those thoughts and you're like, okay, I'm meditating. I'll come back to you later. Don't be upset that you can't really focus as intently as you want. Just kind of go with the flow because it's all about intention. Many times what I don't get in the meditation, spirit brings to me later after the meditation. And so, it's really about reflection and being open in the moment and in the space to invite it in, and having the expectation of receiving it, what needs to be received. And so that's the energy that I'm seeing with the focus around the third eye. Something about legacy within the third eye. This could be around the gifts that's been handed down. This 4 times as much is what I'm hearing, which says that this is like it's a heavy thing. It's a heavy weight, okay? It's not just a little sprinkle of something, but this is something that's actually heavy, that can't be denied. And this may be something that you've been dealing with your whole life and maybe just haven't allowed space to understand what it is or how to operate in it, where spirit is talking to you. You have a legacy not only to acknowledge, but to pass on, okay? Lastly, we have our crown chakra, okay? And the crown chakra is all about how we know ourselves, how we connect with ourselves and our higher power, our source, our spiritual connection. It's all about how we perceive that. That all happens right here in the crown chakra. And we have the King of Wands that came out, the King of Swords. And so it wasn't a number for this one, but for this one, it was the King element. And then we have Judgment. So for this one, it was the King element. And when we look at the Kings, we're looking at the court cards of being, understanding who we are. And when we look at who we are, we're really looking at levels of, when we look at the tarot, we go from page to the knight to the queen and then to the king. We're looking at levels of development and mastery, right? When we look at the pages, they are just many times just starting to learn something, whatever it is, and then we look at the elements of the cups, which is all about emotions. It's about experience. And we look at the swords. We're talking about thought, communication. We look at the cups, the swords, the wands. We're talking about experience and creativity. We're talking about bringing things into existence, manifesting, right? Working. And then lastly, we have, we have Pentacles, which is all about the physical experience, like work, how our health in our body, and we're talking about money, it's like a physical aspect of our experience. And so when we look at the stages of development, the page is just now starting to learn about this experience. The knight knows a little bit more, but don't know everything, knows enough to get some things cracking, but still has a lot to learn. Like the knights many times have to learn that they are still learning because they know just enough to, do some damage if they don't really know what they're doing for sure. And then we have the queens who's very developed and very rounded and tapped into the know and very self-regulated and grounded. And then the king, which leads to a level of mastery out in the world, right? The queen is really inwardly masterful, more than outwardly. And then the king is more outwardly masterful than inwardly. Both king and queen are on mastery level though. And so this is saying like that there is a level of knowing self at a mastery level with these two kings coming out. This is all about mastery when it comes to the crown, knowing thyself, and then having the spiritual connection, understanding our connection with our source, however you see that. We all see our source differently, possibly. But when we look at the seventh chakra, this is all about our universal state of consciousness, tapping into this chakra. And we look at the King of Wands first and foremost. He is sitting on his throne, wand before him, very masterful. Many times this is, we can consider the King of Wands a entrepreneur of sorts. He has mastered the art of doing and making things happen. This is the go-to for whatever you need to know or learn, And when we look at this card, we're looking at our state of consciousness as it pertains to our universal perspective. And this acts in all of our doing, in all of our mastering, all of the worldly ventures and things that we can learn out and about. Are we connecting? Are we connecting inwardly to our source, to the universe? Or does things get in the way? Because it's easy for that to happen. Remember, I was saying how when we sit down to kind of connect, how everything seems to just pour in. Like it's almost like there's a war against, meditating. As soon as you get still, and all of a sudden all these thoughts come rushing in. But this is like a reminder in all thy getting. Make sure you get what's most important, which is an understanding. In all thy getting, get an understanding from the creator, from the divine, from the universe, from God, however you see your source, right? And all that getting, very masterful energy. But is there time for connection? I feel like that's what Spirit is saying with this King of Wands, which has done it all and will do it all every day if necessary. But is there a connection that's being made in all of that that's being done? That's the question. And then we have the King of Swords, which is kind of like the scholarly type that knows how to do everything, that knows just the right thing to say. You put him in a room full of people and he'll come out with a community, very equipped and very smart and intelligent, and is able to just be the perfect conversationalist, or can, problem solve and troubleshoot and come up with a solution for just about anything. Talking about our state of consciousness when it comes to universal things. And this could be just about that. What needs to be cleared when it comes to moving forward? What's in the way? What needs to be cleared? And since we are the master of all things, are you able to clear so that you can move forward? That's what Spirit is asking with the King of Swords. As the master of the problem solving, troubleshooting, the communicator of the universe, but are you equipped enough to clear whatever could be in the way of you moving forward, if there is anything, right? What is it, first of all? And are you able to resolve it? These might be questions to ask, and it might immediately spark a thought as I'm saying it, right? If it resonates, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Lastly, we have the Judgment card. Which asks how the divine energy that we carry is affecting or is contributing. How is the divine energy that we carry adding to the world? And when we look at the Judgment, we're talking about being kind of like a conduit, especially as it pertains to things that we have knowledge and experience with. We're talking about all of this experience, all of this mastery, the King of Swords and the King of Wands, all of this mastery. But how is that contributing to the world? Is it? And is it a valuable contribution? Is it waking people up with the Judgment? Is it causing people to have awakenings and to seek something more than what they knew before encountering you, right? As you can see, she's blowing this trumpet and they're like having a deep conversation. Looks like they're trying to gain understanding, or they're looking for answers, right? It's almost like Spirit is saying, you have something to give. Are you giving it? Are you doing what you were sent here to do? Our perspective and insight as we view kind of like things from a universal perspective. Are you even tapped in that level and realizing that you have been sent on assignment? The tarot card that comes out for this is Insight, Spiritual Teacher. What did I say? I said that already. I'm talking to some kind of teacher, and we're all teachers because we all have someone that admires us, that looks up to us, that comes to us, even if it's just our kids or a niece or a nephew or a friend that always needs advice. We're all teachers at some level, some capacity. And so from the crown chakra, in our universal state of consciousness, it's almost like the idea of connecting with someone. If you're not that connection, it's connecting with someone and tapping into that higher level of wisdom. Either you have something to teach or you are ready to learn. Okay? That's what Spirit is saying. Either you have something to teach or you're ready to learn. Because this is all about being connected from a universal state of consciousness. Again, going back to the third eye chakra, it's not just about us, but there's so much more. There's a whole woven network that you are connected to. You're just one little tiny piece, very significant, but it's a tiny piece of a huge network of functions within the universe. Every time you speak, you affect that function. Every time you do something, you send a ripple through the network that you're connected to. For some of you, you're a teacher. For some of you, you're connected, or you need to connect so that you can learn your position. I think at some point we're all teachers in some aspect, but this is tapping into either one or the other. Either you are a teacher here, or you are being asked to connect so that you can actually tap into that greater point of view, that greater perspective, okay? And this is all about insight. There's something more that needs to be seen here. And this is all about asking, right? And when we're learning, we are positioning ourselves and posturing ourselves in a learning position, and we're asking for guidance with something. Okay. And that's what I have. That's what I have for the chakras. I hope this has been helpful. This is beautiful. I love working with the chakras. Um, like I said, I did do some videos to teach just basic concepts around the basic 7 chakras. And I think I'm ready to explore beyond that. There are some chakras outside of the basic 7 that are below the root chakra and higher than the crown chakra. And so I think I'm ready to tap in. I may add some more educational videos, doing more teaching about that. Okay. And so, yeah, expect those shortly here. But thank you for stopping by. I hope this provided some insight as to what spirit could be saying. If you're someone who works with your chakras, it probably made sense. Even if they all didn't resonate for you, maybe one, maybe a couple of them did, right? And so take what resonates, always use discernment. And if it didn't resonate, listen, that's okay. Just leave it. It's for somebody. It may not just be for you this time, okay? And so that's what I have here. Again, tapping into the 7 chakras to see what spirit is saying with these energy centers in our bodies, and just giving some insight and some messaging on some things that could be being dealt with right now, or maybe needs to be acknowledged, right? And so thank you for stopping by to Blood Moon Oracle. Again, my name is Leticia. Always a pleasure to read and delve into the mystical things of life. And so thank you for allowing me to do that, to speak into your life. I don't take it lightly. And I'm sending out good energy for the rest of this weekend. And I hope you're on the other end to receive it. It all is, reciprocal. I know you all send me good energy, and I'm always open to receive it. Those that take the time to stop by, maybe you'll stop and just say a couple of words. I appreciate all of that. And even if you don't say anything and you just listen, you might hit the like button or just stop by to listen. Like, it's all felt and, appreciate it. I send that love back 10 times fold. And so, yeah, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see what we come back with next time, okay? This was all around the 7 chakras, from the root all the way up to the crown. I will put in timestamps in case there's one particular energy center you're interested in, or in case you want to come back and, listen again. You can find it really quickly. But that's what I have this evening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Blood Moon Oracle here. And my name is Leticia. Bye.